There we go. And good morning, good day, good evening, good afternoon. We're here with Karen and Dove and all the rest of the gang, and we're still studying chapter 25, which is the justice of heaven. Justice of God. So I'm going to turn the mic over to you, Karen, and we'll get going. I can put the reading up in the chat.
Thank you, Lynn. Hi, Sharonda. Hi, Audie. Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm going to open us up with a prayer, truly helpful prayer. So everybody just relax and take a breath. So grateful to be here today. I am here only to be truly helpful. I am here to represent Him who sent me. I do not have to worry about what to say or what to do, because He who sent me will direct me. I will be content with whatever He wishes, because I know He goes there with me. I will be healed as I let Him teach me to heal. Amen. Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Hi, Myrna. Good to see you. So today we are still on chapter 25, section 5, and we're on paragraph 5. So I'll start us off with the first reading. Paragraph 5. It is no sacrifice that he be saved, for by his freedom will you gain your own. To let his function be fulfilled is but the means to let yours be. And so you walk toward heaven or toward hell, but not alone. How beautiful his sinlessness will be when you perceive it. And how great will be your joy when he is free to offer you the gift of sight God gave to him for you. He has no need but this, that you allow him freedom to complete the task God gave to him. Remembering but this, that what he does, you do along with him, and as you see him, so do you define the function he will have for you. Until you see him differently and let him be what God appointed that he be to you. I'm going to read that last sentence again. And as you see him, so do you define the function he will have for you, until you see him differently and let him be what God appointed that he be to you. So we're talking about our brother here. And it's all about forgiveness and seeing the sinlessness in our brother. And it's interesting because I just got off the phone with a course friend and we were talking about serial killers and different types of people that are hard to forgive. But actually, not that they're hard to forgive. It wasn't really that. We were talking about how we can forgive certain people, but doesn't mean we're going to be friends with them and we're going to go out to lunch with them or have them over for dinner. So it was just an experience she was telling me about a neighbor who, they just were going to go out as friends to a movie. This is just what's coming to me right now. And so I'm just going to share it at the top of my head. And she had to take a phone call from her son on the cell phone. And this guy basically snapped at her, and her being on the phone triggered him. And it's basically what the course talks about, shadows from the past, how it reminded him of an old girlfriend, I guess, who would be on the phone a lot and ignored him. So he snapped on her. And dealing with something like that, she handled it beautifully. She forgave him. And he did apologize and everything like that. But, that doesn't mean that once we forgive somebody, that doesn't mean that we might feel comfortable around this person, and we don't have to be. It's just about forgiving, doing the best we can with that. But what I really like, and this is this last sentence that I actually read twice, where he says, "And as you see him, so do you define the function he will have for you until you see him differently and let him be what God appointed that he be to you." So it's actually just remembering to see, no matter really what is happening and what my brother seems to be doing or anyone seems to be doing, I can still overlook the form and remember the content, because as I'm forgiving myself. Always forgiving myself first. So whatever I'm seeing, I'm actually really seeing it's in myself. So I really do remember that when I look at others, it's only a reflection of what I see in myself. So I really try to remember that when I look at my brother for something that I think he did, which he actually really didn't do anything to me. Um, I'm always forgiving my perception of my brother or anything. So that's pretty much all I have for now. Does anyone have anything they'd like to share on this paragraph?
Yeah, I do. Let's see. Oh, Rafi has his hand raised. Go ahead, Rafi. I'll go
Rafi.
after you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, what it reminded me of something I read just last night, in fact, um, about unconditional love. If it's not unconditional, it's not love. The love of God, omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresence, however you designate that, it doesn't pick and choose. So that love is there for serial killers, Adolf Hitler, people who do good deeds, people who are lousy, people who hide away, people who are all good. The love is always there. That whole thing is God doesn't forgive because God never condemns. Um, so if we are one, inseparable from that, then can we? Is that we don't have any other choice to be that. If you choose otherwise, then you're giving into ego mind, and you're saying they're separate from me and they're no good, and they're not here to serve me. I'm not there to serve them, which couldn't be further from the truth.
Beautiful, Rafi. And that's exactly what the course is teaching us. Because we are one mind, and it doesn't matter. You're right. It doesn't matter whether it's Hitler, doesn't matter what they did. Forgiveness, correction is always the same. Forgiveness is always the same, and it's really remembering that we never did separate from God. You're absolutely right. And putting it in practice is the key, is actually remembering the truth in our brother, and how beautiful his sinlessness will be when you perceive it, and how great will be your joy when he is free to offer you the gift of sight that God gave to him for you. I mean, it is when we can just see the truth. And what I've been learning recently is just not to allow whatever anyone does to upset my peace. Really, really working on that, noticing that, and noticing if I do allow it, that it really isn't what that person's doing, and bringing the awareness back to my mind and saying, you know what, there's something going on inside. What's going on? Check in with myself and why I'm allowing, like Dove always says, your triggers reveal your mistaken beliefs. What am I believing right now that's not true? Because it's always a mistaken belief. It's never the truth. It's always my story, about how I think something should be, or, you know, yeah.
Okay, so thank you, Rafi and Karen both. I'm reminded from this right here. Basically, everyone is here to do something. We all have a part in the plan. We all have a part in the plan for atonement. And I'm reminded of this section from the fourth obstacle to peace, and it says. Beside you is one who offers you the chalice of atonement, for the Holy Spirit is in him. Would you hold his sins against him or accept his gift to you? Is this giver of salvation your friend or enemy? Choose what he is. remembering that you will receive of him according to your choice. That's what this is saying. You're going to get what you ask for. You're going to get what you choose to see from this person. And all you need to do is allow him the freedom to complete the task that God gave to him. When we make a person, we give him a definition, we say, this is what you are to me, this is what you are, then we have chosen a path for him that's not the task that God gave him. We've chosen a path for him that we believe that he is. So we may think that he is evil or a serial killer or whatever. But he's here to accomplish the same task that we're here to accomplish. There's nobody here that's here for something different. We are all here for the same thing. So remembering that what he does, you do along with him. And as you see him, so you define the function that he will have for you. And this is what this other thing from the obstacles to peace is saying. Are you going to choose for him to be your friend or your enemy? Choose which he is, remembering that you will receive of him according to your choice. He has in him the power to forgive your sin as you for him. Neither can give it to himself alone. That's a key thing. We can't do it on our own. We have to go together, two by two. And he says, and yet your Savior stands beside each one. Let him be what he is, and seek not to make of love an enemy. And that's from the obstacles to peace. And this is what he's saying here. When you see him as he really is, if you see him differently, let him be what he is. Let him be what God appointed him to be. Don't make of love an enemy. And that's, this is, we have to completely shift the way that we're looking at ourselves and our brothers. And recognize that and every one of us is here for the same purpose. And so it's this idea that I'm here for your salvation, you're here for my salvation. That's the only purpose that we're here. And so, I love this. It's really beautiful. And thanks for letting me share.
Yeah, I agree with you, Lynn, and everybody is playing their part perfectly. I totally agree with that. Even the serial killer is playing his part perfectly. Everything is an opportunity for forgiveness. And this is the message like you shared. It's really throughout the whole course. I love the what's coming to me is the holy encounter. This is saying the same thing, but in such a beautiful way as well. When you meet anyone, remember, it is a holy encounter. As you see him, you will see yourself. As you treat him, you will treat yourself. As you think of him, you will think of yourself. Never forget this. For in him you will find yourself or lose yourself. Whenever two sons of God meet, they are given another chance at salvation. Do not leave anyone without giving salvation to him and receiving it yourself. For I am always there with you in remembrance of you. And that is such a beautiful reminder because it's everyone we meet, it's every situation we're in. It's no matter what's happening. And I have learned I've learned more patience. I've learned more patience with myself. I've learned more patience with others. I'm on the phone with my daughter almost every day, and things that used to bother me about her do not bother me anymore. She hasn't changed at all. I've changed. She's still late all the time. She's still there's so many things. I'm not going to go into details, but she's still doing the same things that I allowed to trigger me and bother me, and I don't anymore. It's all love. I only see the love in her. I see her as innocent, and not just because she's my daughter. This morning I had the maintenance man come in, and he came on with these little booties. He had these little booties on, and to protect his shoes so he wouldn't dirty my floors. And I just let him know how much I appreciated that. I just let him know that, thank you. I really appreciate that, because usually the other maintenance man doesn't. And actually nobody who works here does that. I said, did you buy them yourself? He said, no, they supply them here. I said, well, you're the only one who uses them. I said, I just wanted to let you know, I really appreciate that, and that little kindness. And then I had, on the way out, I had there's some candy, and a candy, like some lollipops and stuff. And, I gave him a few lollipops and some candy. I just thanked him. I thought he was just such a nice guy. I just really like him a lot. And that's the kindness, kindness created me kind, and just being like that with everyone we meet, and it makes you feel so good, and it makes he had a big smile on his face. It made him feel good. It made me feel good. So yeah, I love this.
Yeah,
Anyone
that's
else?
gorgeous.
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
Yeah, I mean, this could be so helpful to us in everything in our life where, when we look around us and we see, people that seem to be so hateful or ignorant or angry or afraid, all of these different things, they're only there to show me my own thinking. And this morning someone was on and they said that they were listening to someone speak, that they just loved this guy. And I'm like, oh my gosh, are you out of your mind? But then I realized, well, if I had a little bit different point of view, I would think that person was great too. So, what's the difference here? It's my judgments. And really, the idea that um, somehow or the other, uh, it's my choices about what I think things should be, how I think things should be, and that all comes from patterning and training, from the culture, from my family, from the church, from my friends, from everyone that I listen to. How much of it is really my thoughts, my ideas, my beliefs, and how different are they really from other people's thoughts and beliefs and feelings? It's really not different. We all want the same thing. So if everyone wants to be safe and happy and free and all the things that go with what we think is a good life, then you know the way you get to it and the way I get to it may be different, but we both have an idea of how to get there. Um, but the fact is that there's no place in the world that's going to do that for us. There's no place in this world we're going to be safe. There's no place in this world that we're going to be happy. There's no place in this world that we're going to find joy, because we made a world that was bereft of all those things, uh, because we made a world without love. And so, this is all we have to do, is remember that all we really want is the love. And that means I can't uh, reject anyone. And that's what this is just saying. If I define a function for him that he is going to be my enemy, I'm going to be upset with him. But if I define a function for him that he is going to be my savior, then until you see him differently and let him be what God appointed that he be to you, you'll be seeing him as an enemy. So yeah, this is great. Thank you, Karen.
It's interesting. Like, I love everything you shared. And when you said, are you out of your mind? You said he was listening to this one speaker, and you said, are you out of your mind? And what came to me was, well, who's out of their right mind? We're the person who's judging the other person is out of the right mind. I'm out of my right mind whenever I'm judging someone else. It's my perception that needs to be fixed. So it was so funny when I heard you say that. You said to that one person, and so what it says to me is from lesson 134, let me perceive forgiveness as it is. When we ask the question, we bring it back to ourselves. Would I accuse myself of doing this? So whatever I'm accusing my brother of, it's always, I'm really accusing myself, and we do it so subtle sometimes we don't even recognize it or realize it, and that's just being mindful and remembering, because the ego wants to keep us mindless. It wants us to not remember that we can change our mind, you know, that we can see things differently, that we don't have to listen to the raucous shrieks, you know, that you know, sometimes seem and sound so believable. They're just not the truth. But I'm not judging anything. I'm just saying it was kind of funny, Lynn, when you said that, because it's like, are you out of your mind? Like, I'm out of my right mind. I'm thinking he's out of his mind, and I'm out of my right mind for thinking he's out of his mind.
Yeah, and we're all out of our mind. That's the thing. We're all out of our mind. I didn't say anything to the person because right when I was hearing it, and my brain was going, whoa, 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 whatever. I don't know Course of Miracles people who think about this or think this, who like this guy, and then I'm like, well, wait a minute, you know, that's a judgment I've made on this person, and I'm the one who's out of my mind. I'm I'm the one who's thinking, that's not acceptable. There are no rules. That this is the thing in this world, there are no rules. Behavior is not something that God is interested in or cares about. Words that people say is not something God interested or cares about. How people believe, their philosophies, that's not what God, those are all things that have nothing to do with my reality. And once I realize that, then I can't say to somebody, you're nuts if you believe that, because they can say the same thing to me, and neither one of us have a point. That's it. Neither one of us have a point. All right, I'll shut up. Myrna.
I just had to laugh at that because I have a feeling I know the guy that you're talking about. And the truth of the matter is, I love this guy. I see the beauty in him and I see the good in him. I really do. And, am I crazy? Are you, we see things from opposite sides of the spectrum. And that's what makes the world go around, really. So, I just wanted to add that because I think I know who you're talking about. And, he really is a dichotomy because everybody, you see the decisions, or I should say the feelings about him are so divided that you begin to wonder, how does all this come together? Anyway, that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah. And all he's doing is playing the part that he was given. And who gave him that part? I did.
Yeah.
I'm the one who gave him that part. I'm the one who said there's a world that's going to be good people and bad people and smart people and dumb people and people I can love and people I can't love. That's what this world is going to be, and you're going to be one of those. And and it really is just ridiculous because we're all the same. We're all checkers on the same checkerboard.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that was a very good analogy. I'm glad you brought that one up. Anyway.
And it's probably not who you're thinking of, but if whoever you think of, I would probably say the same thing.
I'm
So
thinking of Trump. Are you?
no, I was not
Oh,
thinking
I
of
thought you
Trump.
were thinking of Trump.
No, I was not.
Oh, okay.
See, I
Okay.
knew you were probably thinking that. That's not who I was thinking of. But it doesn't matter who it is
Oh,
because
no, okay.
it's the same thing, right?
Yeah, same thing. It doesn't matter. You're right.
Yeah,
Absolutely. It was fun.
that is fun.
Yeah.
It's interesting though, Lynn. I was on the phone with this friend for like an hour and a half, and I would say an hour out of that conversation, we were talking about serial killers and we were talking about all the stuff that's going on in the world and how, as a single woman, how it can be scary and all this fear stuff we talked about. So, looking at that is, I watch myself and I say, I can look at these things and not judge myself for being fearful, not judge myself for still judging, and look at it with the Holy Spirit, with that gentleness and just kind of laugh at myself and saying, it's okay. So, this is where you're at right now. This is what you're thinking right now. And you don't have to take it so seriously, and when you feel, when you feel when you want to change your mind, you can choose again. But you can really get caught up in the ego. It's for me. I can easily get caught up in the ego and in listening to those judging thoughts, because it's only a fearful world if I believe it's a fearful world, and I was believing in the fear. I was believing in the darkness and believing that I could be harmed. And I know the truth of me can't be harmed, but in form, I can be harmed. In form, I can be harmed. So can I be at peace even if I'm being harmed? That was the question I asked in talking to my friend. Can I be at peace? Like with the Ken Wapnick story that I love, I've shared before, when the burglar came into his apartment and he was sleeping, he awoke at peace. He woke up at peace looking at this stranger, and how can I help you? What can I do for you? Not scared, not fearful, not screaming, like, get the F out of here, and, he saw that the guy was in need of something because he obviously, Ken said, looked like he was, on drugs and needed a fix. So Ken just asked, how could I be helpful? What could I do? And Ken gave him money, Ken talked to him. And before the guy, he was very kind, very gentle, very loving. And before the guy left, he said, Ken said, is there anything else I can do for you? And he said, please pray for me. So it was just such an example of how we can be regardless of what's happening. I can see peace instead of this. And that is a beautiful, beautiful example. And that's the practice. And it does take a lot of practice for me to do that in every single situation and moment, but it's doable. Because like I said, I see my daughter differently, and it's one person at a time until it's extended to everyone. We transfer that training, that mind training, from one to all.
Rafi has a hand up.
Oh, Rafi, go ahead.
I can't give you anything but love, baby. That's the only thing I have plenty of, baby. One of the things that I use a lot when I come across somebody who is in distress, or somebody who's having a fit, or somebody's crazy, or they're completely, or they're in pain, or they're in distress, or whatever it is, silently to myself, not out loud, I just start saying, I love you, 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 because that's the divine truth. Love is the very essence. Infinite love is the very essence of all being. And I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Whether it's a car going crazy in traffic or somebody in a store exploding, doesn't matter. I just keep doing that. And eventually, somehow, since we're all connected, we're all one, somehow that actually reaches some of them. And you can start seeing shifts in their attitude. And then I know I'm being of service and not judging them. Just, I love you, 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 I love you. And I don't know how I came across that, but once I started doing it, I never stopped doing it, because I know it works. First of all, it puts me in the state of being, which is that love that we all are, and connects them to the love that we all are. And again, I'm not sure how it works, but I know it does work. So I just wanted to pass it along. You want to try it, give it a shot. You can't.
Beautiful. That's beautiful. It's just like blessing them. They say when you're in the car and someone's like on your tail, or someone's giving you the finger, instead of cursing them, bless them, bless them. And that makes you feel better. So because I've changed my perception. So they automatically change, whether they change in behavior or not. I still see them differently because my perception has changed. When I'm blessing someone, how could I curse them? It's like, how could we love our brother if we judge them? It's the same thing. How can I judge my brother if I love him? That's it. I can't. If I'm loving my brother, I can't judge him. So that's a great practice, saying that.
You just reminded me of something else that just happened yesterday. I'm in the car and somebody's starting to get closer and closer, and I'm going the speed limit. And I looked in the rearview mirror and I said, "That's God. Whoever that is, that's God." And all of a sudden they turned. And they just weren't there anymore, because they are God. We all are. So as soon as I recognize that, there's always some kind of a shift, and it's how we serve.
Beautiful. That's great. Does anyone else have anything to share on this paragraph?
I just love this conversation. It is so helpful. And that's all I have to say. Timely and helpful as always.
Thanks, Julie. Good to see you. Yeah. Well, I guess we go to the next paragraph. Would anyone like to read paragraph?
Ozzy has her hand up
Oh,
now.
I'm sorry, Audrey. Go ahead, Audrey.
I'm sorry too. I just wanted to piggyback off Rafi and say that I often do the Hopo Ono Ono prayer where it's I love you, please forgive me, thank you, I'm sorry, or whatever order I say them in. And I've done that too, just explain to my child too. It's about cleaning our own minds so that it's free from judgment and just to allow the peace, the love to be there. So thank you.
That's great. That's a great practice. And I know I don't go to that meeting, but I know a lot of you guys do go to that meeting, and they say that that does actually work when you do that in your daily life. And you do it in the meeting, but then you extend it out into the world and do it in the world, and it works, you know? That's great. That's great. Thanks, Audrey.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up too, Ozzy, because the whole point of that is to bring you back to what they call a zero state, where you have no charge. You're at a zero state where you have no charge, and then everything is perfectly the way that it is, and there's nothing to be upset about. So strawberry fields forever and all.
Love it. Strawberry Fields Brown.
All right, you ready to go to the next paragraph then?
Sure,
All
sure.
right.
Anyone want to read paragraph 6? We need some good readers.
I'm happy to read.
Thank you, Sharonda.
Great. Against the hatred that the Son of God may cherish toward himself, is God believed to be without the power to save what he created from the pain of hell. But in the love he shows himself, is God made free to let his will be done. In your brother, you see the picture of your own belief in what the will of God must be for you. In your brother, you see the picture of your own belief and what the will of God must be for you. In your forgiveness, you will understand his love for you. To your attack, believe he hates you, thinking hell must be heaven. Look once again upon your brother, not without the understanding that he is the way to heaven or to hell as you perceive him. But forget not this, the role you give to him is given you, and you will walk the way you pointed out to him, because it is your judgment on yourself. That is so clear. You know, when this discussion just started today, I was looking for where, I couldn't find it, where in course it says that thing about there's nothing lovelier than when we forgive our brother and how she appears to us. And it's just beautiful how course says it. I don't have the words, but you probably all know what I'm referring to. I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, I
Thank
think
you.
somebody just read that this morning, so I'll have to look and see where that is, because I just heard it just a little while ago.
So beautiful and moving and encouraging.
Yeah, I like when he uses that word loveliness. It's just such a beautiful word. The loveliness we see in our brother. I can't think of where it is right now, but maybe we'll find it before the end of the meeting. Would anyone else like to share on this paragraph? I'll share on this paragraph. Then I'm having a problem with my view. How can I see? Let me go to full screen. Let me see. I can't see the reading on the screen.
Can anybody see the reading on the screen?
I can see it.
Yeah, I can see
I can
it.
see it. I can see it.
Perfectly clear.
Oh, are pictures of us in front of it?
Yeah, where do what view should I be putting myself on here?
Go up to the little line at the top where all the little rectangles and squares are, and
Mhm.
click on the little short rectangle and see if that doesn't pull the pictures out or pull it out.
Okay, yes, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Um, yeah, I like this too. It's reminding us again that our brother is our way to hell or heaven. Paragraph, it looks like 5. Look once again upon your brother, not without the understanding that he is the way to heaven or to hell as you perceive him. But forget not this, the role you give to him is given you, and you will walk the way you pointed out to him because it is your judgment on yourself. So it's always remembering, like you said, Lynn, it's like he's just showing me my thoughts. So I am projecting everything onto my brother. He is a reflection of my thoughts. As you see him, you will see yourself. And I've been really noticing the calmness that I've had around that lately, just noticing, the good in my brother, the good in my daughter, the good in no matter who it is, in front of me, the maintenance man, my uncle, my neighbor, because it's so much less of a burden really to love my brother than to judge my brother. When I'm judging my brother, it's only because I'm still judging myself, and I'm been working on just accepting myself as I am with everything that's going on right now, and there's a lot going on, and I've learned to actually welcome it. I'm actually welcoming something that I didn't like and didn't want and couldn't even say the word welcome to welcome it, because I was just so not happy about, this whole physical thing that my body's going through. But now I'm welcoming it. I have surgery on Wednesday. I'm welcoming the surgery. I love my surgeon. I prepared. I watched some videos. You know, just feeling good about it, because when I feel good about what's happening in my mind, I feel good about everything else going on around me. So it's always that, and so I can't judge my brother. I just can't. I can't judge my brother. It's not my brother, it's me. I have to look within. It's what I'm thinking. Which teacher am I listening to? That's the only thing I have to judge is my own mind and which teacher am I listening to and recognize and notice, and when I do judge, which, I sometimes still do, just look at it and with the Holy Spirit and not take it seriously, and when I really want to change my mind, I ask for help to see this differently, help me change my mind if I can't, I'm really stuck on this right now. I need some help, you know? But I don't take it seriously anymore. It's not that big of a deal. It's just choose again. Choose once again if you want to be happy. And I would much rather be happy than be right.
Yeah, I think I found this, what Sharonda was talking about. It's
Oh,
in
good.
Salvation and the Holy Relationship, um, uh, the uh, uh, the branching of the road. And Oddsey also found a place where it might be, where he says, think of the loveliness that you will see who walk with him, and think how beautiful you and your brother look to the other. How happy you will be to be together after such a long and lonely journey where you walked alone. The gates of heaven open now for you, and will you now open to the sorrowful, and none who looks upon the Christ in you but will rejoice. How beautiful the sight you saw beyond the veil, which you will bring to light the tired eyes of those as weary now as once you were. How thankful will they be to see you come among them, offering Christ's forgiveness to dispel their faith in sin. That's in chapter 22, section 4, paragraph 4. I'm not sure if that's what you were thinking about, Sharonda, but I love that where he just think about how lovely uh, you will see when you walk with your brother.
Beautiful, Lynn. Is that the one, Sharonda?
I'm not sure. I need to go look at it. It sounded similar, but not quite like what I had found. So I'm not sure. But that's lovely, Lynn.
Here, I can put it up in the room. Let's see. Gotta move all these things around. Let's see, 22:4. Let's see. I'm so slow. Let's see if it takes me there. Oh, sure, no. I'm confusing it now. Let me do it this way. This makes more sense. 22, section 4, paragraph 4. So, yeah, that's the paragraph I was thinking of. Think of the loveliness that you will see who walk with him, and think how beautiful you and your brother look to the other. How happy you will be to be together after such a long and lonely journey where you walked alone. The gates of heaven open now for you. Will you now open to the sorrowful? And none who looks upon the Christ in you but will rejoice. How beautiful the sight you saw beyond the veil, which you will bring to light the tired eyes of those as weary now as once you were. How thankful will they be to see you come among them, offering Christ's forgiveness to dispel their faith in sin. This is a beautiful section. Uh, So he continues, every mistake you and your brother make, the other will gently have corrected. For in his sight, your loveliness is his salvation, which he would protect from harm. And you will be your brother's strong protector from everything that seems to rise between you both. So shall you walk the world with me, whose message has not yet been given everyone. For you are here to let it be received. God's offer still is open, yet it waits acceptance. From you who have accepted it, it is received. Into your hand, joined with your brothers, is it given safely given? For you who share it have become its willing guardian and protector. So yeah, so there he's just talking about, once I and my brother have seen the truth about each other, then all those mistakes are corrected and all those mistaken identities are corrected, and all we actually will see will be the loveliness of each other. I don't know if that's the place, but it sure is lovely to see.
Beautiful.
All right. I'll take us back to our reading where we were. And anybody else have any comments on this paragraph? So do we want to go on then to paragraph 6?
Sure. Would anyone like to read paragraph 6?
I can try to read if my birds will cooperate.
Thanks, Audrey.
Against the hatred that the Son of God may cherish toward himself, is God believed to be without the power to save what he created from the pain of hell? Excuse me. But in the love he shows himself, is God made free to let his will be done. In your brother, you see the picture of your own belief in what the will of God must be for you. In your forgiveness, will you understand his love for you? Through your attack, believe he hates you, thinking heaven must be hell. Look once again upon your brother, not without the understanding that he is the way to heaven or hell, as you perceive him. But forget not this, the role you give to him is given you, and you will walk the way you pointed out to him, because it is your judgment on yourself. I stumbled a bit because some of the wording, it kind of is confusing me, I guess. I know that this hatred that I feel towards myself gets projected outwardly. And then, of course, because I believe God hates me, and I see that coming to fruition in relationships. I know there was a instance in my family, and I actually exclaimed, I didn't realize that they hated me so much. So this is really, I think my brain is confusing me about it because I have a resistance. So I would love further explanation. Thank you.
Yeah, I love how he's reminding us that the hatred is always about ourselves, against the hatred that the Son of God may cherish towards himself. Is God believed to be without the power to save what he created from the pain of hell? So it's for me, what I'm getting from that is that I have this hatred against myself, but I think it's God's fault. I'm blaming God for my hatred and my upset, and I'm thinking it's God's fault because I don't believe he has the power to save, what he created, which was me, from the pain that I'm going through, the hell I'm going through. But in the love he shows himself, but when I show myself love, it's God made free to let his will be done. Because it's always about myself. Like I'm always like Doug always says, I'm always talking to myself. I'm always thinking about myself. The secret of salvation, I am doing this to myself. So if I am hating myself, I'm going to hate God because everything is a projection of what I'm thinking. Then if I love myself, but in the love that I show for myself, is God made free to let his will be done because I'm doing his will when I actually love myself and forgive myself for the mistaken thoughts that I'm believing because they're not true. So I think it's the hatred that I have towards myself is always going to be a projection I'm going to put onto God or anyone else that I don't know if that makes sense, Audrey, but that's kind of what I get from it.
Rafi has his hand up.
Okay.
Just echoing what you just said about the importance of loving yourself. It's more important than sometimes we give attention to it. Because if we're loving ourselves, we're being the love that we are. Infinite love is the very essence of all being. A synonym for it is God. And we get down to making a decision. Would you rather be positive and love yourself, or be negative and beat yourself up? Which one do you think is going to serve you and mankind, better? And it's so obvious. You got to laugh. Are you kidding? No, but a lot of people are into that, negativity and beating themselves up, and all they're doing is poisoning themselves, and then whatever is in their lives is reflected back to us because there's nothing out there but our consciousness reflecting back to us. And so they think that everybody's an enemy. And that's typical of ego. I want you to like me, but I'm afraid you're going to kill me. So I got to be really careful about, and you get into that whole set of thoughts, feelings, ideas, beliefs, rationalizations, none of which are true. When simply being positive and loving yourself solves all of that. Because our self is, look, there's no you, there's no me, there's the self, there's the oneness, there's that love.
Beautifully put. Thank you so much, Rafi. I agree 100. Sharonda, you're muted, Sharonda.
Thank you. I had this thought come in while we're talking today, and this is a tricky comment because of the nature of projection. I more and more know I'm in hell when I'm judging and nah towards somebody when I'm in a grievance. But today I had the thought to have some compassion for my brother who appears to be having a problem towards me because they're stuck in that pain and that hell as well. So that's interesting for me. I've looked at people thinking they really believe what they think about me, or they really believe what they're thinking about these public people we see in the news. And, when we have course, we can work with all that because we know the nature of thought and projection and the making of the world. But today, to have some compassion for people who are stuck in that. So I'm going to use that. And I found the thing I was referring to because I had posted it on Facebook. I put it in the chat. Can you imagine how beautiful those you forgive will look to you? In no fantasy have you ever seen anything so lovely. Nothing you see here, sleeping or waking, comes near to such loveliness. And I didn't give a citation, but that would be easy for anyone to find.
Beautiful.
Yeah, thank you so much, people.
Thank you so much for finding that. That is gorgeous. Sleeping or waking, nothing could be so beautiful. The forgiveness, and that's what he's talking about here. He brings the forgiveness up in the next sentence in the middle of the paragraph. He says, in your forgiveness, will you understand his love for you through your attack, believe he hates you, thinking heaven must be hell. Look once again upon your brother, not without the understanding that he is the way to heaven or hell as you perceive him. But forget not this, the role you give to him is given you, and you will walk the way you pointed out to him because it is your judgment on yourself. So we're choosing this, in every moment, and I think that it takes a lot of awareness to recognize that it's really like, I think Rafi just said it a couple minutes ago, it's never about them. It's never about them. It's always about my decision for the ego and to believe the ego thought system, and think that it's the other person. So I can take the hatred off myself and I don't have to look at what I'm really thinking about myself. So it's just really being aware for me and remembering that it's never about anything or anyone outside of me, and to really remember that I want to be at peace. I just want to be at peace. And
You
that
know,
takes, go ahead, Lynn.
I was just going to say that, when we're reading this paragraph, what was coming to me was all the times that, against the hatred that the Son of God may cherish against toward himself, is God to believe to be without power. And I think about, what is the hatred that I cherish against myself? And it's the thing that says, I always screw that up. I never do that right. Oh my gosh, am I ever going to figure this out? This will never work for me. I am so clumsy. I am so fearful. I am so afraid. All the things that I say about myself are just indicators of a certain amount of hatred of myself and a belief that I'm unsalvageable. There's, God, and it's a story that, everyone has told me my whole life, and I'm sure they all told you the same thing. You're not good enough, you're not strong enough, you're not smart enough, you're not kind enough, you're not uh, pretty enough. You're not skinny enough, all the things that, not enough, not enough, not enough. It's the same thing as the more, 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 more. And, if I'm going through my life thinking that I'm just not enough, I'm just thinking I'm not worthy, then I look at my brother and I think, well, you're not worthy either. Even if you are skinnier than me, or even if you are, kinder than me, or, there's something wrong with you. You're still annoying in so many ways. This is how, we look at the world, look at ourselves, look at our brothers, and look at the world. None of it is good enough for me. So what would make me think it would be good enough for God? And I have to recognize that my standards and God's standards are different. My qualifiers and God's qualifiers are different. My thought about what is lovable and God's idea what's lovable are different. And that's what I have to understand is, I don't really know what any of these things are. I just have a story that somebody told me, or I read about, or I thought it myself. Um, and it's not true, none of it. So thank you for letting me share. And I see McKaylee has her hand up too.
Yes, that's really beautiful, and I love where it says, in your brother you see the picture of your own belief and what the will of God must be for you. In your forgiveness will you understand his love for you. Through your attack, believe he hates you, thinking heaven must be hell. And I know that attack is always wrong. So I always think about that if you're coming from attack, it's always wrong. And this also makes me think in the book Absence from Felicity, where Ken Wapnick talks about a little bit about his life, and Dr. Schickman about when the burglar came, and how he had reached that peace of mind with his thoughts to wake up to a burglar in his room at the end of the bed, and he didn't go into fear, but it was like he was like, how can I be truly helpful to the burglar? And he, even though he did get robbed, it was, the whole situation was turned around because of love. So thank you.
So funny, McKaylee. I shared that story earlier. I think you came on a little late. That's so funny. You shared that too. One mind. All right. Does anyone see what time it is?
11:59.
Yeah, it's about that time. My gosh, how this time has gone
I
Yeah.
know.
fast.
Does
Oh,
anyone? Well, I
That's what
thank you.
happens when you keep in holy company.
Oh, thanks, Rafi. So happy you're making the meetings and so thankful for everyone. Thank you so much. And we'll see you next week.
yeah, we'll start the next section next week. Yay.
Yeah, the
So
special function.
that's a special function. Yeah. Oh man, that's great. I love it. Everybody says, what is my function? I must have a function. The God gave me a function. What is it? Oh, we'll